Joining us here at the CTF Tech headquarters is Brady from KPMG Estonia. You are a senior cybersecurity advisor, right?
That's correct.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So, why is it so important to organize this kind of events, the CTF?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. One important reason is that we want to build awareness of the cybersecurity landscape,
sure.
How it affects people and companies and other organizations, and the skill set that is involved in solving the types of problems that organizations and companies have with respect to cybersecurity. And a CTF event is a good way to present a subset of skills that players can solve and test their own abilities and learn from the challenges, as well as use the skills that they have already developed. So,
how do you think the people are coming along in general? Like, is in the general public, is the cyber hygiene trend upwards or downwards?
Well, I think that's a complex question, because I think for some people it's trending upwards, and in some communities, particularly here in Estonia, I believe that there's a pretty good awareness of cyber hygiene concepts and cybersecurity in general. I'm not sure that's true everywhere, and I think in some locations maybe that trend is moving in the wrong direction. Yeah, so these types of events are important also for that reason.
So what are the challenges of organizing a CTF event in your experience?
Well, the primary challenge for the organizers of the event, at least for an event like the cyber event that KPMG just hosted here in Estonia, is creating the challenges. First of all, you want your players to have a challenge. You don't want them to come in the event and go, oh, I've seen all of these challenges before. So you have to create a new set of challenges that are unique. And this takes a lot of time and a lot of effort on the part of the creators. The second challenge is bringing together infrastructure to host the event. So some challenges, of course, are just don't require an infrastructure. Maybe it's just a file you download and reverse executable, but then other challenges, we want to host some more real-world type of challenges where maybe the players need to use some enumeration tools against a live type of host, and these require infrastructure. So planning out all that infrastructure, how the players are going to connect to the infrastructure, of course, because you don't want the infrastructure on the internet. So these are all challenges that need to be solved.
So what was the feedback from the players at CyberHunt?
Well, I think in general we had really good feedback. The players enjoyed the game. They solved almost all of our challenges, so all of our challenges are burned pretty much, and we have to start over. But we had a few criticisms as well, and I think that's also good, because it will help us build better challenges in the future and have a more exciting and dynamic event next time. So
who is the usual CTF player? Who's the usual guy or a girl who shows up?
I think the CTF players are all over the range. Of course, like I also am playing some CTFs, and I'm a little older, a professional in the field. But I think the range is from middle school students. We've seen middle school students involved, these 7th, 8th grade students, up to people that are already in the profession. But I think generally, like in this last event, the KPMG Estonia event, we hosted the 2 winning teams were high school and university students here locally in Estonia. And I think most of the players were also sort of in that age range between high school and university, pre-profession, pre-career.
So is that
I think that's pretty typical.
Is that also like high school? Is that also a good time to start, or actually, if they want to go pro, they should start earlier?
Well, I think that if you want to be a pro CTFer, And I think that you would want to start building some of these skills even earlier. Problem-solving skills and skills in mathematics would be very important to start to develop early on, and then coding skills. You have to have, if you want to be at a high level, the teams that are solving the hardest challenges are good programmers. They understand the cybersecurity landscape. They understand how to take advantage of vulnerabilities and how to use tools, and that's a pretty broad set of skills. So the earlier you start developing those skills, I think the better off you'll be in the future.
I know that in your Estonian event hosted in Estonia, there were also people who signed up from India, the UK, and US. So why are the CTF like so internationally popular that people from India they find the Estonian CTF and take part in it?
Well, I think traditionally we have had this event in a local facility where players are coming to a local facility to participate. But due to the current situation, we decided to have it online, and this made it available to anyone really to sign up. Although, and I think a lot of CTFs now are marketed in greater geographical areas because it's easy to participate, and there's a common language in the hacker culture, right? So we all speak. You have to know English mostly to participate in these, and you have to know Python, right? So there's a lot of commonalities. It doesn't really matter if you live in India or the UK. The skill set, the knowledge base is very similar across all of those geographical locations.
So could it be that there is like a small silver lining in the whole corona pandemic situation, that people are more used to going to CTFs which are held like 100% online?
Yeah, I think maybe it will bring awareness, and there's a big gaming culture, and I think that some of this is now coming into the cybersecurity landscape, and the gamification of cybersecurity type tasks like CTFs, but even more complex, and the cyber ranges are getting better. So I see in the future that hopefully we'll have some like esport heroes that are CTFers and not just traditional computer games. But so I think that appeal is easily international, and it doesn't matter anymore where you are. You can still play. The one problem is that you can't. It's harder to take the prizes, right? So if you're giving a physical prize as the event is concluded, then how do you get it to someone in India?
I'm sure a bank transfer will do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So what were the hardest challenges in Cyber Hunt?
Well, one of our challenges we thought would be the hardest was solved very quickly by several teams. And then one of the challenges, it was a programming challenge, like you had to develop your own programming language, sort of, to solve the challenge. But then we had one challenge we thought would be easier, and it was the challenge that gave you access to all of our infrastructure challenges, like that were hosted on servers. And that challenge, we actually had to drop a hint before anyone solved it. So it's hard to tell, I think, which challenge, because you don't really know the skill set of all of the players coming in. Maybe they're all programming heavy, or maybe they're all exploit heavy. So, but I think in general, the most challenging things should be the ones that are very heavy programming, because it's easy to get involved in CTFs without knowing a lot of programming skills. But if you want to get to a high level of competition, I think you really need to have good skills in developing your own solution to a problem.
So if we look at the big picture, like these challenges you described are actually like a model of challenges in the real world, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty analogically happening. So what are the most common problems that companies are tackling with cyber security wise? Well,
I think in the current situation in the cyber landscape, organizations and companies, the biggest problem they face is lack of knowledge on the part of their staffs. So it's an awareness problem. This allows like phishing attacks to work very effectively against people. And then, you know, there's still vulnerable software is still a part of it, but most of the attacks I think that are happening now are happening because of this awareness that people in the organizations aren't all up to a level of awareness. They're not following the guidelines. There aren't good guidelines in place. And one of the things that CTFs can do is develop this awareness as people grow into into a career in this field, and they already have the skill set when they get there. So,
if you have like this tabula rasa person, like a clean sheet that hasn't gone through any of cybersecurity trainings,
yeah.
What would, if you could just give him or her just one piece of advice, what not to do online?
What not to do online? I would say don't click on anything that you don't trust, and always think about what you're clicking on, because that is the most common way to get compromised is by interacting with a link or some other software that you don't trust 100%.
So all of our viewers, probably not those who are participating in the CTF, but all other spectators, listen to Brady's wise words. On the other hand, for instance, I consider myself like a relatively experienced individual with some cybersecurity and then some cyber hygiene training as well. If I do everything right, if I only use secure web pages, would somebody at your level, if they really wanted, would they still be able to hack my iPhone's camera, for instance?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Let's not name any brands.
There's always
just a smartphone.
There's always the possibility that there is a vulnerability in the software you're using or the hardware that you're using. That this is the 0-day idea that there can be exploits out there that nobody knows about yet. And of course, depending on the nature of the exploit, it's possible someone could use it to attack you. But I think the vast majority of situations where you see some sort of compromise of a system, it's not that. It's that some human had to interact with the exploit in some way to make the exploit work. So it's possible, but it's not. I mean, the most likely thing to happen is that you had to help the attacker attack you. But the other scenario is definitely a possibility.
Okay,
so keep your systems up to date, right? So
yeah, let's try
install your patches,
not to help them. What kind of advice would you give to our CTF heroes competing in the cyber battle of the Emirates right now?
Oh, that's a tough question. Have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and respect the other players.
Thank you, Brady, for this talk and for some good advice as well.
Okay, thank you.